What's up, everyone? We are back, not just for pod number 88, the Dallas Goddard pod. No, we are back in the Super Bowl, baby. I got the bricks behind me because I'm bricked up. Like Quell said,
Bricked up.
I'm here. I'm ready. Go Birds, bro. It's the revenge season, the revenge tour. I'm not afraid, bro. And this is coming from the guy who all year was like, I don't know, the Saints game, you were like, if you're scared, get a dog. And I was like, no, it's not like that. But you know what? If you're scared, get a dog because we're back. We're back in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is getting B to A, talking about three-peat this, three-peat that. Don't look past the Eagles. Don't look past Saquon Barkley. Don't look past Vic Fangio. We're back, baby. We're back. How you guys doing, man?
Brother. First of all, bricked up is a crazy way to start the pod.
Are you not bricked
gonna
up?
Lie to you. Oh no, I am. I just didn't vocalize it.
I visualized it too.
Boy, it's the epitome.
But no, man. We're doing excellent, man. We're doing excellent. The Eagles back in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years, man. 55 points on the Commander's head who took over the Hard Rock Cafe. We doing good, man. We doing real good.
65 burgers, 65 fries, 65 shakes.
Don't worry. This is how you will start a pod for real.
How you doing, Quell?
Oh, well, beloved dub to those who celebrate. It is I, the one and only Mark Quell for Arms. And it's usually always sunny in Philadelphia, but it's a bit brighter outside today, man. You seen all the people outside. I'm pretty sure you seen it because you were one of the people outside on Broad Street yesterday as everything was going down. And it's like, man, you can't help but think that not only does the city, but this team specifically, they deserve this, man. And I mean, of course, kind of like Jalen said to Saquon at the end of the at the end of the divisional round, when Saquon was like, one more. And Jay was like, fuck you mean, excuse my language, but two more. We got to get this done. And I mean, here you are on the cusp of history, probably the greatest. You can make the argument that this probably, with a win, would be the greatest season in Eagles history, with them not only getting to 14 wins for the second time in franchise history, but then the postseason success. I think it would be the most wins in general for an Eagles team in franchise history as well. So, I mean, how could you not be in an ecstatic mood? Now, at the same time, like our quarterback says, we're going to take these 24 hours, enjoy it, and then it's time to get back to work. So, how do you guys? So, I mean, where you want to start at, man? You want to start with a little bit of this BTA, as you were saying, Parth, or you want to get a little preview of the opponent?
No, we got to talk about that game, dude, because that was. I mean, I had a close game predicted. You guys had 2 scores or whatever it was, 10 points. Double nickels in the NFC Championship game. I mean, what is it about these NFC Championship games? Something comes over this damn city, man. Something comes over the city. Here, you're on mute, bro.
Oops. At home, like I said, leading up to the game, bro. Did we really think the Philadelphia Eagles were gonna let the Washington Commanders walk into the lane and win?
Saquon Barkley's first 2 touches were touchdowns.
I mean, Special player.
I was just listening to the to like this clip from the Richard Sherman podcast, and he had Slay on there, and Slay was just like, man, we come back from like a 17 play 7-minute drive. We're all exhausted, give up a field goal. I just got my water, and I look over, and he scores the touchdown. Like, we didn't even get any chance to rest, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, that was awesome, but that was a little fast, man. Like, the defense is gonna get tired, but I mean, that game was the epitome of what we've been talking about. It was complimentary football at the finest. They start the game off with that crazy run, and now all of a sudden they're just nervous about the run game. Oh, wow, the passing game starts to open up, and you start taking those shots, and the run game opens up even more. And it was so beautiful to watch. And then, the defense is going to force turnovers. We're going to score off of those turnovers. This was the Nick Sirianni game. Stripping the ball, dude. Nick Sirianni, how much does he talk about it? And
that type of stuff is coaching. That's coaching. Yeah. And we've talked about it a ton on the pods this year, but that's the difference from last year to this year. Whether it's the technique on a week-to-week basis, how prepared they are, but just the turnovers, like those punch outs, bro, that's coaching points. Like, that stuff is
and they go for it every time because it's gotten to the point where we have backups who are going in and making the play. Oren Burks,
shout out Oren Burks, man,
brother.
Will Shipley in a row.
Will Shipley.
Yeah, the Oren Burks and Will Shipley with the forced fumble, that great.
It was like I was over there excited. It was running back on running back prime. I believe that it was
Kenny
Jeremy
G
McNichols who kept running with the football, who got hit by running back Will Shipley with running back Kenneth Gainwell with the recovery. It was like, hey, look at all these running backs. Who say they don't matter?
It was amazing, dude. I was watching my boy Tyler and like first drive, and I'm like, okay, we held him to a field goal. I was thinking about what Rio had said about how they, can eat up the clock, even though they don't have that strong of a
not to cut you off. I knew that this game was not going to be a competition. After that first Washington drive, what they run 15 plays, they went for it on fourth down 2 or 3 times, and then you just settle for the field goal.
All I was thinking was like, I was just thinking it could be a long day because I was like, how much are we gonna get the ball? That was just my only concern at that time because it was like, even if you're getting 3 points, I mean, they took 7 minutes off the clock and they barely ran the ball, and it was just like frustrating. It's like third down stop. Coop gets that third down stop. Amazing play, and then we're like, oh my god, they're gonna go for fourth down again, and it's just like I was like, that's what I was just like, okay, this is gonna be exhausting. But you're totally right. You settle for a field goal there. And then we come back the other side, and then you come with the touchdown. That's what becomes the difference in the game, right? You can't be settling for field goals over it. And I think one point during the game that stood out to me, and Tyler mentioned it at the same time, that 4th and 6, that very reminiscent of that 4th and 6 that Sirianni did not go for it in the Super Bowl, right? And here it's just like, no, we're going to go for it. We're going to trust the offense. We go out there, we execute, we get the first down, and we keep the ball moving, and we go down there, we get points. It's just those little differences, that confidence in the team. It's different.
But that one specifically, like, it was after Jalen, he didn't throw the first deep shot to AJ, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's a learning point to me, right? Like I'm not gonna say afraid, but he didn't pull the trigger on the first one, and then on 4th down, 4th and 6, you see one-on-one coverage. Marshawn Lattimore, who by the way, Marshawn Lattimore, bro. He's such a prick, man. I'm not a fan of his, man.
It's so funny. But you know what? You got to respect it because
I gotta love it, man.
Dude, he only does it. And RG3 tweeted something about this too. I noticed it during the game. I was like, he only beefs with physical receivers. DK, Mike Evans, AJ Brown. He hates receivers who are just like big. And you know what? Like, shout out to you, man, because it's better than just being the bully on the small receivers.
Exactly.
Like, respect, dude. Respect.
One of them guys that play the position deserves to be played.
I agree.
Oh, he's always struck me as one of those dudes who gets amped up when they're losing or when they're getting beat, and then he just try to fight.
Yeah, but that's how a corner should kind of be, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm okay with that. I want a little bit of insanity in my corners, dude. I mean, Quinyon catches that interception, and he immediately does Terry McLaurin celebration. You need to have that psychopath in you, dude. Marshawn Lattimore has that psycho in him. He's the only DB that got into a fight with DK Metcalf, and DK wasn't in the wrong. I mean, like, you got to be kind of crazy for that. I got to respect it, dude. I got to respect it. But, oh, yeah, he got cooked. And that pass, that was bread basket. For a second, because AJ secured it so quickly and so easily, I almost thought he dropped it for a second. And they showed the replay, and it's just like, whoop, like right into his arm. That was spectacular. So, I mean, if we're talking about some of the passes and the passing game, because I mean, it looked night and day. This is what we've been asking for all year. This is it. We're seeing reverses with Dallas Goedert, with Devontae Smith. We're using the motion.
Boy was in his bag.
Kellen Moore, just like I guess he had the duffel ready the whole time and just threw it on the table today. Fine. You know what?
Yeah, the duffel was ready. It was packed and it had a airplane tag on it to Arlington, Texas, until Dallas did whatever the hell that they did, and he said, well, time for me to get back in the bag. I guess I can unpack it a little.
Did y'all see Jerry today crying at his presser?
That was hilarious. What I'm kind of realizing, though,
it takes to be a good coach. He knows.
I know what it takes to hire a good coach. But jeez, I forgot what I was gonna say. We're talking about Kellen. That's totally fine. I think what I'm realizing is as soon as I get on the pod and insult the coach, and I'm like, no, he's a fraud. He turns on, he turns it on. I did this in week 4 with Vic Fangio. They come back from the bye, and all of a sudden, we have the greatest defense I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I call out Kellen Moore, and I'm like, man, I wish he would just go to. I wish he had gone to Texas. And all of a sudden, he calls the best game he's called all season. I mean, fine, dude, do what you need to. Take the hate from me. I'm happy to produce it. But please, like, if they bring that in the Super Bowl, man, like, I forgot.
Well, no, it got me thinking. Like, I tweeted it earlier today. Like, even with Jalen saying Nick kind of removed his straitjacket.
That's what I wanted to get to.
Is there like any chance that like they were just playing like 4D chess this whole time and just gonna lean on the run, lean on the offensive line?
Yeah,
and
I know.
Now that the games are higher stakes, they're kind of opening up the passing offense a little bit more.
Yeah,
or at least they're letting Jalen. What's the phrase? I'll say, like he said, remove his straitjacket.
Yeah and no. I fall somewhere in between because, like I continued to harp on for weeks, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you winning games, it's not like this what style that you're winning these games are can't be repeated or something of that nature. Now, I do believe there were points in times where Jalen has struggled, for lack of a better term, missed some passes, didn't fire when he should, late through progressions, bad mechanics, a couple of things that we could get cleaned up in the Jalen Hurts area. But I also believe that, like he says all the time, when it's time to turn it on, he can turn it on. They've shown that in games like the Steelers game earlier this year, where, I mean, if we need to make a play, we can make a play. And if we have to play through this style of offense, we can play through this style of offense. At the same time, I mean, you could see within, like you kind of mentioned, Parth Kellen's play calling, that they're setting something up. They're definitely changing something.
All, dude. They barely run crack toss.
But that's it kind of all tied together. That's where, I mean, when I was saying they set it up, because even on Saquon's first touchdown run, they had sent someone in motion. It was kind of like a fake jet sweep pitch to the crack toss, where they was putting the jet sweep in their mind, even though it was a Saquon Barkley run. And then you come back to the jet sweep a couple times later on in the game. But I can only imagine what they're kind of trying to cook up with that. I tweeted out earlier where it will feed families, where you fake the jet sweep, probably fake the jet toss, and you take your shot downfield. And I mean, it's not like you don't have the offensive line to do it, especially if Jurgens and Dickerson are healthy, which it sounds like they should be. But man, Kellen definitely he was different. That was different.
They did a lot of that. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the Twitter thread. It's the dude on Twitter, Coach Dan Casey. Like, even with like the GT counter, like they ran some boot off of that. Like, they mixed in a lot of little wrinkles and nuances here and there off of stuff that they've ran regularly during the regular season, where they just added a thing here with
that. And that's exactly what it is. It's the wrinkles and nuances, and that's what we've been begging for all year. That's what, when we had the intro pod about Kellen Moore, that's what we talked about. We were like, hey, we're gonna get more motions, more ways to get the defense thinking about, oh, what is this actually going to be, instead of just, hey, we're going to go out here and run our offense come hell or high water. And that's what was so encouraging about this. Because like you said, Quell, it started on the first play. You're having the motion come across, and then you can build on top of it. And that's what we've been asking about it. And to your point to your point about the linemen, I honestly think it was as ideal as you could get given the situation, in that both of them got a half. You know, like it's not going to be like either of them is coming off of, 3 weeks of not having touched the football field at all. They both played, they both thugged it out. I mean, those are two of the toughest dudes on the team. I mean, back injuries.
Brother.
The visual of landing on the sideline, him like moving onto the field, and you got Cam trying to pull him back, and he's like, "No, I'm good."
I believe he mouthed to him after the half.
Goosebumps.
It was like,
I actually have goosebumps right now, bro. It's like, and that's what it's about, bro. That's the brotherhood of O-line, right? It's just like it's one unit, right? Like the Gators had Jake Slaughter was our center, and he was an All-American, so they gave him a brick. And at his All-American, brick celebration, what's he do? He has a hat on that just says 5 = 1. Because that's literally how they approach it. It's like, this isn't about me. this is all 5 of these guys coming together, and for them to just
what's the Stoutland quote? No man is an island. You can draw strength from those around you, or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. It just embodies, like you said, the brotherhood and the togetherness of that position group.
I think it deserved to be mentioned. We gave Landon and Cam their love, but Landon, man, what can you say?
Switching positions,
moving to, and I mean, kind of like Jalen mentioned during his presser, where it's like, I mean, yeah, we laugh and joke about these kind of things, and we big, at least me, I'm big on this kind of things during draft season, where it's like this versatility that we mentioned during these conversations, it really matters. And you talk about a guy who was an All-American center at Alabama when he was there. And not even just that. I mean, who knows? I doubt he'll ever be put in this position, but just the story that Landon tells is so phenomenal to me. A guy who was recruited as a left tackle to Florida State. Moved from left tackle to center when he got to Alabama. And then you talk about him making the change over to guard now at the next level. And it's just having the ability to be able to move back and forth at need, that's at a necessity. It was cool for him, man. It's cool as hell, if you ask me.
And it's incredible, cool as hell, incredible. Whatever you want to say, you just can't say enough about the guy. I mean, the visuals of his knee too. I mean, you can just see blood like soaking in through his tights, and the guy is just like, both him and Cam just like hobbling around, and then they get on that field, and you couldn't tell that they were injured. They played their ass off, and it didn't matter. And on top of that, I mean, both these guys, lower body, lower extremity issues, lower back and knee, and they're doing the tush push at center. Jason Kelce has talked about it. Like, where started his career at 6'1", ended at 5'11", and these guys are just pushing through, dude. You just can't say enough.
Side note, good thing you brought up the tush push, bro. If I hear or see another person on Twitter talk about it's unstoppable, it's unfair, the league need to ban it, why are they allowed to run it? If it's so unstoppable, why your team don't run it?
The funniest thing is they literally stopped it. They stopped the tush push. They honestly, I think I saw the trick, and I think they stumbled into it by accident. The trick is to get on top of Landon or whoever the center is. You can't let him have the leverage. Like, low man wins to an extent as long as you have leverage.
Kelsey has said this.
That's why
I don't even remember that, but I just watched it and I was like, oh, they just collapsed it. There was no point of attack. There's no push. As soon as the center is just underneath and you can get the D tackle on top of him, they're not pushing anymore. They did it, and then Louisville was just crashing out. And I'm like, bro, y'all had the solution right there. You gave him a touchdown because you're a crash out.
Brother, that'd be the funniest sequence I've ever seen in the NFL.
They said, you keep doing this, we're going to give him the touchdown.
It's one of them things, and I mean, we talked about it when Rio was on the pod, where he had mentioned how that the Commanders to him were the ultimate counterpunch football team, and I talked about how funny he used that analogy because I've talked about the Eagles being a great boxer all year long, and I mean, that drive right there, that situation right there was the epitome of, like I say, when they get you to rounds 8 through 12, they start to put their weight on you, and it's a lot harder for you to compete. Where it got to a point where, I mean, like you said, Parth, they may have had a solution or something of that nature. I'll believe someone has a solution when I see it, but it got to a point where it kind of, you could see them in submission. At first, it was all right, this is how we got to stop it. And then it became, even this isn't working, to the point where the refs had to step in like, look, bro, this isn't good for the product. You can't do it. This is excessive grievance. That's what they would call it on the video games when the people be getting kicked for this. Like, what are you doing, man? You can't be just continuously getting the penalties so your team can't run a play or get a score. It's hilarious. I was talking to Shavin about that earlier, and they was talking about this on Good Morning Football, and it seems like that has never happened at the NFL level, but it has happened one time at the collegiate level.
Call it 19. What year was it? Like,
I can't remember what year it was.
1955 or something. Yeah, Cotton Bowl 1955 or something. Rice and someone else, right?
It was Alabama.
You saw the video?
Alabama. Yeah.
He's such a crash out, bro.
Hey,
I didn't see it. Send it in the
all right,
chat. I didn't see it.
So white dude from Rice went on a massive touchdown run. Kind of probably had to be like 60, 70 yards. And he is juking everybody. Can't nobody catch him. He's about to score. And somebody came off the sideline and hit him, bro. Like
Bro, he flies off the sideline, bro.
Hey, wait.
Bro, he injured him.
You remember in Friday Night Lights when dude was running and the coach ran off the sideline? That's the first thing that popped into my head.
It's exactly like that. Or the closest thing I can think of in the NFL was Tomlin in the Super Bowl, right?
It was Thanksgiving night. It was Thanksgiving night against the Ravens. And he was standing there looking at the jumbotron.
He knew. I still to this day,
the look in his eyes, because he was like
the little smile afterwards, like, bro, you knew, and there's a little gamesmanship here, but hey, man, get out of here. You knew.
That's true. Jacoby Jones had the TD, but they didn't award him the TD. Maybe the ref should have known their rules. Anyways, I mean, so talked about the offense a little bit. I mean, straight jacket was off, whatever it was, it looked so much better. So
before we move on, bro. Y'all know I'm the resident Jalen guy here. So let me just say,
resident Jalen guy is crazy.
The backtracking, I need it to be as loud as the disrespect was. All week leading up to this game.
Well, which way do we want it? Which way do we want it? Because I got a question. Because did you see the shady thing with Chase Daniel?
No, which one?
So Chase Daniel comes in and he's like, Jalen Hurts, winner, this, and this. And he brings up like all of like, you know, the quarterbacks who've made 2 Super Bowls in their first 5 years and all those things. And Shady was like, like you don't get to do that. Like you've been talking all that. You don't get to just come aboard. So my question is, because I am in the middle here. Do we accept people onto the bandwagon or
no?
So then you don't want the apology. You don't even want it. Just tell them to shut up.
Stay on that side.
The question is, what do you think Jalen Hurts would do?
He tell them stay on that side.
Jalen Hurts just give him a smile, flash the chain, smile.
Well, no, man, like all week leading up to that game, I sat and listened. National media, oh, Jalen Hurts, he can't beat you with his arm.
That's your fault. Why are you listening to national media?
I can't
listen to the Blitz boys. The Blitz boys.
I'm an Eagles fan. I can't help it. But you can't depend on Jalen to lead you in the playoffs. He can't win with his arm. Make him stay in the pocket. Rex Ryan flipped the script. He can't win from outside the pocket. Brother, over 200 passing yards, pass a touchdown. Give my dog his respect, man.
Should have had two. If it wasn't for that PI on Devontae.
I ain't gonna say Rex Ryan is right. I don't believe he's right, but I respect that argument a lot more than Jalen can't win from the pocket. Jalen has been phenomenal from the pocket this year. Now, Jalen Hurts, I don't know what has happened over the course of these last 2 years, but Jalen Hurts, the improviser, for lack of a better term, has not been where we would like him to be. He has flashes like that game in Buffalo where there's the Alameda Sakia's touchdown. But for the most part, he does that thing that I hate where once he rolls out, he squares, he doesn't keep his shoulders square, and they commits to being a runner. It's a long distance conversation there. But even with things of that nature, he's been productive as a runner. He's done a good job of trying not to take these bad sacks over there. It's just getting them caught up in the pocket. So I mean, either way, like you said, they need to stay on that side. Is my view on everything. If you didn't like him in the first place, the entire point that everybody's preached is you can't win a Super Bowl with these brand of football. You can't win a Super Bowl with this brand of football, which is hilarious to me considering the two teams that are playing for the Super Bowl. Where I mean, of course, the Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes. There's that, but we spent all season long watching them win these games in the flukest fashion possible. Week after week after week after week. And we basically continue to say that brand of football that they're doing, the way that they're winning, their style of winning isn't sustainable. You're not going to be able to get to the playoffs and then continue to do it. And they've done it. And then you look at this Eagles team where people continue to say, well, Saquon is doing good, but if you stack the box and tell Saquon he can't beat you, then what happens? And time and
You
time
can tell
again.
him that. You can say it. Doesn't mean it'll happen.
That's exactly why that Chris Canty video, like I saw a lot of the media folks, they were up in arms about it. The producers supposed to protect the show and everything like that. No, we need more of that. We need more of that. Because you cannot just backtrack and flip opinions.
Oh, the guy who's like, I had Jalen Hurts top 10.
Yeah.
And the producer was like, no, you didn't. That was hilarious. He's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
There's multiple clips of you everywhere saying Jalen Hurts is outside your top 10. That was funny.
He had Brock Purdy over him. He had Justin Herbert over him. Nah, brother.
Our producer said it in the back, man. The Jalen Hurts word. Accountability. Accountability, right?
We could all use some more accountability.
Not me, dude. I never do anything wrong. I don't need to be held accountable for anything. I'm pretty damn
We're
perfect.
so accountable that we have kept alive the accountability podcast, accountability group chat, and accountability everything single-handedly. But what has
that was this year? That was this year. The accountability group chat was this year.
Oh my goodness, so much.
That's
time.
Insane.
That feels like
oh my god, dude. That feels like foreign, dude. That's crazy.
I know Devin White. Like, where did everything go wrong?
Wait. Since he was on the week one, like 50.
I don't think he was on the roster long enough. It's like you have to be on the roster a certain amount of time.
Oh, okay.
The ring. I don't know if it's just
he might though, because I know people that be getting. Like, I think some of those practice squad guys that get cut in the preseason, they get rings and all that.
I know.
I'm not sure.
I know. I saw Paris Campbell tweet. He going to the Super Bowl. He's on the practice squad.
Hey, they Notre Dame tweeted for Ian Book. They said Super Bowl bound.
Look, so if you was here, you get a piece of this pie.
Technically, they are right. So that's pretty funny. But the funny thing about the Chiefs and the Eagles is like. I mean, Chiefs have felt like, the Eagles of last year, but both teams are kind of heating up at the same time. Patrick Mahomes had one of his best games by EPA of his career last game. Eagles obviously put up 55 on the Commanders in the conference championship game. These teams are hot going into here, but the Chiefs do bleed, man. This isn't the same Chiefs defense we've kind of seen in the past. This defense
James Cook had his way, brother. I can't for the life of me understand why he did not touch the ball on the final drive. After all he did all game long, they just stopped. It's like they have superhero syndrome and they gotta let Josh Allen finish the show. Like, my goodness, man.
I think it's because James Cook started talking about feral hogs on the sideline or something, and so then they were like, "No, we can't give him the ball." I read that one again today. It's just so funny. It's like there's lots of feral hogs. They mate too much. We need to hunt them.
If you let Ben Solak tell it, Josh Allen, he didn't make enough of a Superman play.
Did y'all
Ryan Leaf is funny.
Ryan Leaf is hilarious.
He crashed out, bro. Someone needs to kick him,
bro.
Hey,
bro. Somebody go put hands on him.
It's notable though that all the ESPN former players are going after his ass, bro. He works at ESPN. That means he's probably just a smart ass around there too, and everyone's tired of it. And he's still doubling down, bro. In that thread with Fitz, he's doubling down, and it's like, dude, like if you had ever like played football for a second, you don't even need to play quarterback. If you had ever just played football for a second, you would understand that, hey, it's hard to go like this and then turn around and throw it like that. When he's like so stupid.
All you gotta do is press X.
He was like,
huh? Press X. Yeah. Why didn't he just press it? Press B first to spin and then just throw X. Like, it's not that hard, bro. Like, just spin, move, throw it. 360 no scope. It's not that hard. Come on.
Not gonna lie. In 2017, I saw Carson Wentz do it. I'm just saying. Against the Bears, I never
do a lot of things.
Never.
Don't even say a word about that bum this week. These next 2 weeks, I cannot wait for him to have to shake Jalen Hurts' hand and say congratulations. He's not
gonna do it. You know he's not gonna do it. He's gonna run off the field.
I think that's a bigger storyline that needs to be discussed. I haven't even considered that to this point. I know the hate in his heart this week is like,
brother, he's fuming.
He's fuming.
And Jalen is fueled, bro. That man is fueled off of spite. And now he's got Carson Wentz on the other side, brother. And I mean, I was looking back at some of the stuff from the last matchup. Miles Sanders had what 12 yards,
16
yards on 8 carries.
Oh my goodness, he was so.
And he was complaining about getting carries online after that too. I remember that.
I mean, if you didn't fumble on your first,
exactly.
We got that game still
brother. Since we've broached the topic, like just how much this Eagles team has changed from that Super Bowl matchup. Like,
brother,
you got Vic Fangio instead of Jonathan Gannon.
That
Saquon.
Did you post that graphic you made?
Let me check.
Yeah, you did.
You did? Okay, because that was a good graphic. Because I mean, some of those changes are crazy.
They have everything, man, everything, and it's honestly hilarious on a fandom part on my end, and for Howie Roseman's end, to considering that we all probably sat here and had the same conversation.
That's good podcasting, Parth. I'm sorry, not to cut you off, Quell. That's good podcasting, Parth.
Got y'all, man. I got y'all.
But the conversation we probably had with not just each other, but with ourselves, that we all probably had, every single person related to this Eagles organization, where, like you kind of mentioned with Vic Fangio, you guys can count on. It probably ran out of fingers. You could count at this point how many times I said the difference between the Eagles and the Chiefs, where they had adults in the room and we didn't. And you bring in arguably, I mean, we've heard some people realize Spags as the greatest big game assistant coach in history. We'll find out. But you bring in basically one of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time in Vic Fangio to kind of help. You look at exactly, I mentioned all the time, what Spags did for that Chiefs defense that same year we played them, where we all week long heading into the game, all we talked about was they're young. And I mean, yeah, they were young, but he had that young defense playing really well. And then you look at Vic Fangio, who has this Eagles defense ranked at the top of the league, despite being the youngest defense in football. And then on the offensive side, where, I mean, we always believed on that end. We had everything. We believed we had what it takes. We just didn't have the ball last. That's all. But now you look again at what this team is now. You bring in the great unequalizer in Saquon Barkley to head against a Chiefs team who has looked basically susceptible on the ground. It's going to be so fun. And just the last thing that makes it so interesting to me is kind of like you said, Pierre. Maybe it's highly possible. I don't think that was the case, but it's highly possible that they could be sitting here playing 4D chess with the league and not putting anything on tape. And now it's time for them to start showing the big guns, for lack of a better term, come playoff time. Because you look at this Chiefs team, all we could think about is in that Super Bowl game, that touchdown that haunts all of us, that they ran twice in a row, that they got from the Jaguars, where something got put on tape early in the season against this defense, and they found it. And this is still the same coaching staff. Like, look no further than last night against the Bills, where you can't even remember the last time the Chiefs have called quarterback running or Patrick Mahomes has scrambled on a designed run play, where they ran midline option twice, because you look back at this Bills team and you see what was done historically in the regular season matchup against the Ravens, and the Ravens killed them with midline. So come playoff time, they're going to find your weakness, man. So I'm just interested to see how this coaching staff can kind of keep everything together.
I'm excited and so positive about this because they've been tested. I spoke about it previously on the pod about just the adversity this team has faced. It's not just in the terms of, the injuries that we've lost and the guys that we've lost. Side note, that moment of Nakobe and Sirianni on the sideline was cool, man. Bring it home for 1-7.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Nick,
Pierre, you're on mute.
Wait, yeah. Nick, y'all saw the video, right?
Yeah, and then the one with CJ too. That was
cool. But I'm talking about the one with Kobe. Nick was like just standing there screaming into the phone.
Hella relatable, man. I mean, he's going to the Super Bowl.
How loud the stadium probably was.
He's going to the stadium. Sometimes, man, you just kind of scream, bro. Just like dude. I mean, I can't imagine how he felt, bro. Like, just, and especially a guy who is as emotional as Sirianni, and like that in that moment with CJ, where CJ is just like literally like crying, hugging him because it's such an overwhelming moment. And that we've spoke about it this season. I was wrong at the beginning, but that's the effect. When you that actually spoke to me the most because it is a grown ass man, right? Like to just feel that comfort and that love with somebody who's not blood, not nothing. That takes effort, that takes time, takes communication, and it takes him caring. And that's what he does the best. And you got to give credit where credit is due because these guys are a cohesive unit. They've come together, and that goes to that adversity that they went through. Those games, we faced good quarterbacks this year. We didn't face good quarterbacks in 2022. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was probably the best quarterback we faced in 2022. And those 2022 Trevor Lawrence. This year, we've been tested. They've gone through the gauntlet together. We had that stretch of games where we were like, how are we going to come out the other side of this? And they came out undefeated. So I have confidence in this team and in the way that they're put together. So we talked about Miles Sanders for a second. And producer just kind of gave us some ridiculous stats. I mean, since he left, Miles Sanders has 637 rushing yards total. 2 seasons.
Nasty work.
That's
tough.
Well, you're on mute, bro.
I think Saquon Barkley has more than that before contact this year.
I think he has more than that in the playoffs. We're somewhere close to that. What is he at?
I believe he's
got to be at like 5 at least at this point.
Or half 4. I think it's at like 4 or something. I do believe he's peaking 5.
He is.
I know that if he's about 100 yards or 100 and something yards away from topping the Terrell Davis record. So
I saw that. So all right, yeah. So he's at 442 yards right now. That's weird. I felt like it was more. It's just because it's so many big runs. And then our producer also just put this comment in here, which I'm thinking about. Like to have your most significant offseason additions be finalists for awards at the end of the year. It's madness, right? You have Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is going to be all pro, but he's not. I'm just thinking about how good he's been. But Zach Bond comes in this year. He's going to be deep boy conversation. You have 2 corners in the defensive rookie of the year conversation. Saquon Barkley, MVP, offensive player of the year discussion. What can you say, man? I'm sorry. Yeah, Fangio. Fangio is one of the best assistant coaches in the league. Can't say enough, man. Shout out to Howie, dude.
Yeah, it's just like we talked about, not the preview part, but the part before that. It's just a testament to Howie and just the overall job that he's done. Like me and you, Parth, we talked about it last night when we were just chopping it up on FaceTime. But like, since the dude got exiled in 2015, 14, like since he's come back, this is an entirely new person. Like, I can't even put it into words, bro.
And the thing about it is he's had the ups and downs too. It's not like it's just been only good. And the encouraging thing about it all is that every time he's made a mistake, he's corrected it. And he's found a way to correct it in such a way that we actually end up in a better position than we might have originally. It's ridiculous. Oh, you miss on Justin Jefferson? Okay, draft Devontae Smith and then trade for AJ Brown, right? It's just some of these decisions. Oh, like we can't pay Hassan Reddick. Okay, well, I mean, I guess we're going to take a chance on Nolan Smith, and now he has the most postseason sacks.
No, not only does he have the most postseason sacks, Nolan Smith is up to 10.5 sacks in his last 15 games, bro. Like, he has flipped the switch. And, I mean, we talked about it.
Georgia's finest.
Shout out to Pierre.
Are you actually going to get a lineman jersey, or are you going to keep hating?
The fact that you don't have a Kobe.
I knew you were gonna say that BS. Get out of here, bro. That is a defensive end, brother. He wants
linebacker. Outside linebacker. Please use the correct terminology.
Guards in the mouth, dude.
Edge. We don't want
linebacker. Outside linebacker. Please use the correct terminology.
Football here.
Get the hell out of here. Outside linebacker. Bullshit.
But no, like a question I asked you last night, Parth, so I'll pose it to you too, Quell. From a personnel standpoint, is this the best group that Fangio has ever had? Like, just in terms of what he wants to do from like an overall philosophical standpoint. Like, you got blue chip guys along the D line, like we just said, and Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis.
Shout out Jordan Davis, bro. Shout out Fat Boy, man. Oh my God, he threw that guard to the side and then just ate up Davis. That was a 12-yard sack. By Jordan Davis.
You said he couldn't rush the passer.
He has 4.5 total sacks in his career. Okay.
Hey, Hey, man.
I'm excited.
Sacks are overrated.
He's been playing 12 snaps a game, man. I'm glad he's taking advantage of his snaps, but 12 snaps a game is not ideal. But credit where credit is due, because he has come on. And whenever he's playing, he's made an impact. I just wish he could play more. That's where I stand on him.
But yeah, on Jordan Davis, his gravity, and ability as a run stuffer. You know, we just outlined Zach Bond. Yeah. But Zach Bond,
I think it's a great question, dude.
We just outlined him being the defensive player of the year, pretty much. Cooper DeJean, we've talked about it a ton this year. He was created to play in this system. You got Quinyon Mitchell. Like, just overall, just from what Fangio wants to do from a technique, communication, disguise, coverage, everything standpoint.
So we'll get to this comment in a second. I want to answer Pierre's question, because I think it's a good question, especially because people have been talking about how Fangio is 0-8 against Mahomes. Those are some pretty bad Broncos teams, bro. I mean, the offense and the defense
couldn't score. They couldn't score.
The defense kept them in games, and the offense couldn't do anything. I remember how, like, they'd be like, "Oh, Mahomes is playing the Broncos, and he has so much trouble on offense against the Broncos," but then they just can't score. Talent-wise, though, I think the closest would be the 2018 Bears. You know, you had Khalil Mack playing at a depoy level. You had Eddie Jackson playing at an all-pro level.
I think it was Hakeem Hicks.
Hakeem Hicks, and then like Danny Trevathan was playing well that year. But I think this is the most talented, just in terms of talent at every level. You have multiple stars, right? I don't think the corners.
I don't know. It's really close, because like that Bears defense, like Danny Trevathan.
Yeah,
like they had some dudes, man.
But I'm thinking about the secondary, right? They probably get us at safety, right? They had Adrian Amos and Eddie Jackson that year at safety. But at corner, I'm taking the Eagles with Slay, Quinyon, and Coop, right? Like I think that's them. Linebacker, I think linebacker you could probably call it a draw with
just because of how the production he's got out of Zach Bond.
Yeah. So I think you call it even there. And then D line, they had Khalil and Hakeem Hicks. We have Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis when he's playing as well. Josh Sweat, and he's been playing fine. And
I think it's pretty close. I don't know, man. That's a really good question.
On the D line, I think we're deeper. Because we go Moro Jomo, Milton Williams,
deeper for sure. But
yeah,
high. So all right, baseline. Which team is more talented? What do you guys think? Full stop.
Sheesh.
I think this team, honestly, bro. I think it's this Eagles team, man. Like,
I think I would take it too, because the thing about this Eagles team is so many of them are so young, you know.
But it's two players. It's two players specifically that are the reason why I say this, right? Cooper and Jalen Carter. Like, number one, we talked about it. I just said it. Cooper DeJean was created playing this defense. You can do so much with a player who's as gifted as he is, like, just because of, like we talked about this pre-draft, the Swiss Army knife ability that he has, right? He can come down into the box. He can play deep, the little hook curl zone, the flat. Like, he can blitz.
I don't know. It's close. Roster? I'm not even just looking through the roster. I mean, I don't know how much you guys respect PFF and things of that nature, but PFF
only when it matches my agenda.
PFF ranked that Bears defense the second best defense of the decade.
They were dominant. They were dominant.
They were also
who were they playing competition wise? And is that the defense that we beat with the double doink?
Yes, I believe so.
It is because my boy's a Bears fan, and I remember it broke him because he was like, "This is our year," and we beat them on the double doink. It was Cody Parkey too, right?
I remember. Who was it? Was it Fletch or was it BG? Before he kicked, they was like, "Hey, Cody, don't miss."
It was
Fletch. That sounds like a BG thing.
That sounds like a BG thing. I was about to say
that. It was Fletch that did it.
So all right, that would actually make more sense because it sounds too much like BG, where you'd remember that it's Fletch. But speaking of BG, I don't think he's back. I think they put up the 55 so. as a salute and to inform us that Brandon Graham is coming back. They put up 55.
So.
It's rumored. I've heard
he particularly missed that kick on purpose. They wanted to get to 55, bro. I'm telling you. Was the agenda.
I heard that he should come off IR in the next couple of days or so.
I thought he got taken off of IR last week. No. Oh, they were just talking about it last week.
Yeah. So he was like, even after the game, when they asked him, do we think he'll play? He said he has some people to talk to tomorrow, which was today, and he'll have more information. But then earlier today, I seen something, a report where it sounds like that he's going to be activated probably tomorrow.
I think he plays, bro. I said it last time. Like I think he retires after the season if they win, and I don't think he's gonna be at the Super Bowl and not play. If he can even play with like whatever he can do, BG is gonna be out there.
Because didn't Ray Lewis have this exact same injury and he played in the Super Bowl? It's kind of along the same timeline, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember. That's a crazy.
I remember that's the 2012 with the Kaepernick and all of them. I remember he got hurt. I don't remember exactly what. I thought it was like an elbow or something like that.
He had the whole joint on his arm, right?
Yeah.
I do remember that now.
Didn't
Suggs have that too?
I think so, yeah.
Because I always have like this image of Suggs with the elbow brace. But anyways, this was a good comment, man. You got to give a big shout out to the position coaches. Christian Parker, Philly dude.
Shout out to Clint Hurt, man.
And Clint Hurt, that image of him and Jalen Carter and Nick Sirianni, and it speaks to the team, man. Like he was like, "Hey, relax, I got it," and he had it handled, you know. And this team, they work together and they trust each other. That's the important part about this too. And again, that comes back to Nick. And I know I was one of the big Nick criticizers, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And he's made a community where people feel like they can talk to each other. And the thing is we can talk like this, give them the benefit of the doubt because they won, right? If they weren't here, the emotions and all that kind of stuff, it's nice. It's secondary.
Listen. I get you. But like I told you from the top, like I said all off season, as to why they shouldn't fire, his resume speaks for itself, brother. Yeah, that collapsed. It was there. But if you were going to ignore everything that he's done around that, and now speaking in hindsight, everything he's done after, like we're talking about a man that joins Mike Tomlin, Joe Gibbs, and nobody else as the only coaches in NFL history to make 2+ Super Bowl appearances in their.
You just called one of them a fraud, bro, and he's known for the same thing as Nick.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He connects with his players.
He's known for getting to his quota and calling it a day. That's Mike Tomlin now.
All right, that's revisionist history. That's Mike Tomlin now. Mike Tomlin with Big Ben. The Steelers were an issue almost every year, bro. I mean, when Big Ben had an arm and his arm was like falling off of his body actively, they were good, bro. Like for years, Mike Tomlin was one of the best coaches in the league.
AB, man.
He's a crash out. What are you supposed to do?
Nothing but crash outs at wide receiver. That doesn't
because they all lose their brain cells when they play against like the Bengals. And you got what's his name? who was old boy on the Bengals? Vontaze Burfict. He knocked out him, Juju, everyone, bro. What are you supposed to do? You're running slant by him, and you're getting immediate CTE. There's like that play. there's like the interviews of Antonio Brown and the pre Vontaze Burfict hit, and then after the Vontaze Burfict hit. That man changed his life, bro. He changed the trajectory of his life with that hit. If we're going to give Sirianni credit, which I think we should, got to give prime Tomlin credit too. I agree, Tomlin now.
I agree.
Tomlin now, fraudulent. He hits that 8, and it's, oh, brother, we hit the 8. That's 500, baby. We're good. So I'm with you there. But no, his resume speaks for itself. But
wait, before you finish, Parth, I thought you were gonna finish the listing off the Sirianni statistics. I got some here. You brought up the 2 Super Bowl appearances, but 48-20 career record, 706 career win percentage, the first coach in Eagles history to make 2 Super Bowls and the most 14 win seasons in franchise history, the first coach in franchise history to take the Eagles from the wild card round to the Super Bowl.
And he is the only coach in NFL history to make 2 Super Bowls and never miss the playoffs in his first 4 seasons. Special kind of talent. But hey, let's fire the guy because
listen, we're not going to sit here and act like last season.
No, I'm not going to sit here and act like anything. I'm keeping the same energy that I've kept the entire time.
You did, but there was reason to have the conversation. It wasn't like the conversation was being had for no reason. And now we got how we also picked his assistants. We're going to have to see now in the future when we have to replace assistants, when there is the natural attrition, What's it gonna look like?
Replacing assistants because Vic Fangio's gonna.
Vic Fangio's staying. Vic Fangio's staying here until
Vic Fangio might be here for the rest of his life.
Kellen is a question.
No cap.
Kellen is a question. Y'all think if Kellen leaves for the Saints, is he bringing in Frank immediately?
Brother, it's gonna be Kevin Patullo. I've said this. It's Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo gets first dibs. I'm telling you, that's what's gonna be.
I've said we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Pierre. Kevin Patullo only gets first dibs if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, because that kind of gives Nick some strong arm and power, at least for a season. Like, hey, I got the team to a Super Bowl. At least give me this. Let me get something out of this. But not only do they have to win the Super Bowl, if they were to lose, the passing offense has to look overly competent. And I mean, we spent all season long. Yeah, you talk about the possibility of playing 4D chess and things of that nature, but it's still no denying that the passing offense was underwhelming. And his job title is pass game coordinator. What exactly would he bring to this offense? Like, but I mean, that's a conversation for another time, man.
I think he'd bring back his boy if he had the chance, dude. He was fighting with Colts fans over Frank, bro. And he don't play about Frank, man. That's his guy. I mean, and
bro, it's two guys. It's two guys. Nick Sirianni don't play around about, bro. Frank Wright and Larry Karras. He go to war when you bring up those guys.
I'm telling
odd guy, but you make it work, and that's how it has to be sometimes. I want Nick to succeed. I always appreciate coaches who are just like who connect with their players on a different level. We just got to make sure the X's and O's stay consistent, man, because I mean we're all riding a high after what we saw, but like you said, Quell, maybe they were 4D chess holding it all in, but passing game this year, I mean we were pretty miserable about it all damn year. So We'll see what it looks like in 2 weeks, but
I'm glad you guys kind of brought this conversation up, because I thought about something earlier too. So of course we've seen names like what's your guy from Bobby Slowick and Clint what's
Kubiak guy in Seattle.
Oh, he gone? Okay. Well,
he's signed with Seattle.
Bobby Slowick, but I guess my only problem or my only pushback or question to you guys would be, do you think that they will refrain from hiring someone from that whole Shanahan scheme because of the input that Jeff Stoutland has on the rushing game in itself? And I mean, that whole Shanahan scheme comes with its own running game ideology attached to it.
So I think that could be one reason why. And then also kind of the fact that, like, not to say the Shanahan scheme has gotten figured out, but it's kind of similar to the Fangio stuff, where you have all these different types of disciples all around the league, and nobody can kind of capture, I guess, the proverbial magic that Kyle Shanahan hasn't led to a Super Bowl, but that's besides the point. But yeah,
real fraud.
Yeah.
The real fraud is Shanahan. I don't care.
I don't really consider
football whiz guy. Look at my memory. I remember every play. I'm such a nerd. Like, whatever.
I don't really consider McVay a Shanahan guy. He's kind of like a distant cousin of the Shanahan tree.
I mean, I can see why you say that. Only reason I will always consider him the Shanahan guy is because Kyle Shanahan was the offensive, and Kyle was the offensive coordinator. That was his baby. So all of them was reporting to him. So,
well, yeah, they're 1 for 6. I don't care. I don't want that garbage. Okay,
but
I don't want
one
that
guy.
And that way. So that's my point about it. Is we talked about this last time. Is that the Eagles want to zig when everyone zags, right? We tried to do the get behind what everyone's doing. Everyone wants to run the Shanahan offense. Like you said, Pierre, it's not as successful outside as everybody wants it to be. You win a lot of regular season games, and then what happens in the postseason for most of these teams? They don't really make it that far. It's usually just the Niners who actually end up making it that far with Shanahan, and then they never win the game, which is perfect. I love that. But yeah, I don't know if they would go after Shanahan disciple just because of that reason. I think your reasoning on the run game is valid as well, Quell, where it's just like you have something that works. The run game isn't the issue.
Right.
The run game has been the positive for the last however many years Stout has been here. We've had like one of the best running games in the NFL. So yeah, I don't know if they would go for for something totally in the Shanahan house. I think they probably just try to find somebody in a similar vein, and that's why I bring up a name like Reich. You know, it's a retread, but it goes along in the lines of, you know, the way that Nick wants to play football, the way that, you know, the Eagles value playing football as well.
So I will say two guys that we haven't mentioned, but I would potentially keep an eye on: Josh McCown and Gerard Johnson.
Yes.
Both former quarterbacks. They kind of fit the mold of what Nick wants in terms of, like, I guess on the offensive end, at least, former players.
Josh knows the building. I mean, he was the backup here. But isn't Josh in Tampa? Is he not staying there?
He's in Minnesota, isn't he?
He's in Minnesota?
Yeah.
No, he's in Minnesota. He's in Minnesota. You're right.
He's a QB coach.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Hey, after the year he just got out of Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I mean,
listen, I always got love for Josh, dude. That Seahawks game, I'll never forget it, dude. That guy gritted it out, bro. He could barely walk. His hamstring was off the bone, bro. That was like smoked meat, man. Just pulled the bone right out. He played his first playoff game ever with the Eagles. Oh, he tore both. That's right. It was both hamstrings.
Wait. Josh McCown was in the league for what, 14, 13 years, and his first playoff game ever was with the Eagles?
Yeah.
Is that really surprising though? Like, think
about
him.
He was like a bridge guy.
Yeah, he was always like he was always either like, you know, he'd start near the end of the season for somebody or the beginning of the season if it doesn't work out. Either way, like, yeah,
I didn't know that.
He was. I mean, he was like Fitzpatrick, right? I mean,
yeah.
Those were like the two like, you know, journeyman QBs that you get that are like the old wily vets that you get in the QB room for you. Look at that, 188 on pod 88, dude. The magical numbers are magic.
It's so cool that we had 3 straight tight end pods in a row.
I love it. The 80s, baby.
But before we get out of here, I do have one more point that I kind of want to make known, right? As Eagles fans, bro, and I said this last pod, but I'm gonna reiterate it again, man. Let's not take this for granted what we're witnessing, man. Like, you look across the NFL, some of these franchises are legit desolate, right? Like, on a year-to-year basis, fans have nothing to look forward to. Cough, cough, Dallas Cowboys. They just hired Brian Schottenheimer, bro. But yeah, we're witnessing
a Gator legend. Okay, relax on a Gator legend. I'm not gonna take all this slander. All right, go Gators, man. Jesus.
But no, man, we're witnessing a team that's about to play in their second Super Bowl in 3 years and third within a decade. A roster that has a top 5 quarterback, best running back in football, best duo at receiver in the league, an elite tight end, best O-line in football, blue chip talent all over the defense, the best front office in the NFL, a head coach like we just talked about, who's undoubtedly proven at this very moment that he's an upper echelon coach in this league. Like, as fans, man, we should not take that for granted, right?
I think I tweeted this the other day, and Pierre, you and I had this conversation all the time about how black and white the world is, and there's no gray area. I think it's so easy for all of us to take all of this for granted because it's really hard to distribute credit, to not single out a singular factor as to why these teams are successful. And I mean, the easy thing is to sit here. I mean, the most obvious things to do is to sit here and point to Howie Roseman and the roster he's constructed. I mean, you could really make the argument that we've built a legitimate super team on both sides of the ball. And it's not easy to do. Not at least not easy to build a successful one, because we've tried to build super teams before. But Jen, when you look at a guy that just around the roster, we had the conversation about Nick, but then you look at Jalen, and I mean the conversation that surrounds Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, and things of that nature. But then you look at the guy, and like Nick said, man, he's just a winner. Jalen Hurts set an NFL record for most consecutive playoff games without turning the ball. I mean, without an interception. He's the first Eagles quarterback to play in 2 Super Bowls. Like, this, it's so easy to take this for granted because of everything that we have around it and all the talent and the expectations surrounding the team. But as we seen last year, expectations don't always live up to fruition. And I mean, you can look at a lot of good teams. Hell, we look at the team on the other side of the ball in Washington, who they can make the argument that the future is really bright, man. Franchise quarterback, $100 million plus in cap room, draft capital. But we'll be the first to tell them that, just like a lot of teams across this league, you get here, you kind of got to capitalize on these opportunities because they don't always come back. You're not guaranteed to see this again. So the fact that Jalen Hurts has become the first quarterback in 19 tries to basically make it back to a Super Bowl after losing this debut, again, all these simple things that it's so easy to take for granted when you just talk about the discourse surrounding Hurts, man.
I think you guys are both valid, but I mean, should hate to be this guy, but I'm not gonna lie, dude. Kind of thrive on it, dude.
If we don't win.
No, it's nice. It's all fine and dandy, but I'm not coming to a Super Bowl and losing it again. I don't want another freaking consolation. I don't. You know what would piss me off? If I have to see 2 Super Bowl appearances on his resume. I don't want that shit, dude. Give me a damn W. It's all fine and dandy, and I'm glad. And we shouldn't take it for granted. But you just said it yourself, Quell. You said it best. When you get here, you got to capitalize. These opportunities don't come around, and we bucked tradition with Jalen coming back here. I mean, my dad's favorite quarterback of all time. I speak about it all the time. He never made it back. It's
even deeper than that, man. Like, even us as Eagles fans, like, I just sat here and mentioned how Jalen's the first quarterback in Eagles history to play in 2 Super Bowls. Like, 20 years ago, Donovan McNabb was here, and Donovan McNabb was dominant. Those Eagles teams were dominant. They went to NFC Championship after NFC Championship after NFC Championship. They were the standard of the NFC, and they couldn't get it done. And then they got to one Super Bowl and didn't win that. And, I mean, yeah, we may joke about those Eagles, like, yeah, those were, in hindsight, dominant teams because we understand how hard it is to build dynasties. But just imagine how many people that are listening to us talk right now are sitting here and think about that team like, yeah, but if only they would have been able to get one. Like, Donovan and his era was so good.
Exactly, dude.
But if only he could have just got one. And you're right. I don't want Jalen to be that.
Because this ties into a question that we had earlier in the chat, and this is what I want to head out on. He needs to get this, because you get this, and all of a sudden this is a very unique, very special, very rare type of talent and career and track record at quarterback. If he wins this, I mean, I'm not even speaking hyperbolically. I mean, you're starting to build a Hall of Fame case. You know, it actually is 2 Super Bowl appearances. The amount of winning he's done, he has 1 All-Pro, right? Or is it second team?
It's a second team.
It was a second team All-Pro. But I mean, he's 26. He's 26. If you go and you just get this ring, because Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees only played in 1 Super Bowl. You know, like these things don't just come around. You gotta capitalize on it. Because, brother, last time we lost a Super Bowl, I got interested in Star Wars. That's when I started loving Star Wars, because I couldn't watch anything football. I couldn't do anything with football because it broke me. It broke me fundamentally. I'll take 0-17 next year for a Super Bowl this year. I don't give a damn. Just give me the damn ring. That's all I want. Ring me. I'll go buy the replica. Like, I will do it, bro. Just get me the damn ring. I want Jalen Hurts to have this on his resume, because then everyone can go to hell. Say what you want. Oh, he doesn't pass the ball, doesn't do this. Guess what?
And I'll say this as we close. I think that's the difference. One, or other than just the personnel, if you listen to the guys talk after that game on Sunday, I think that's the difference. Like, they're not just happy to be here. Like, even Saquon, like, he talked about it, like how he wasn't in the building, but he feels like, hey, we got to go get our get back, bro. Like,
and for it to be the same damn team, for them to be going for a 3-peat based on us the first time, for them to be going for a 3-peat, brother, we stopped the Patriots 3-peat. We're stopping this. Finish the story. Damn right. Finish the story, man. Finish the story.
Yeah. Only one option, man. It's only one option.
Just get this W. Rent is due. And I know I got faith in these boys, man. I got faith. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Ty spoke about Star Wars earlier. Tyler said this. He said Saquon on the Giants, Saquon with the blue lightsaber. Or sorry, Saquon. Saquon was Luke Skywalker with the blue lightsaber. Now he's Luke with the green lightsaber. And we're going to the Death Star. We're blowing up the second Death Star. It don't matter, bro. All right? It's over. It's over. Darth Vader is here. I don't care about Darth Vader on the cheeks and all that. Go Birds, man. Go Birds, dude. I'm sick of this. No, I'm Parth Vader, but I'm like, when Darth Vader redeems himself, right? I'm not like evil Darth Vader. That's who Patrick Mahomes is. I'm the good Vader. I'm Anakin. We're good. We're good, T. Don't worry.
But all right.
This is a fun podcast, man. This was fun.
Good pod, man. Well, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you to all 193 of you that tapped in.
Timmy Jernigan?
Plus.
Timmy Jernigan, yeah.
We got to
Loco in the cut.
Cool.
Loco in the cut.
Because it'd probably be a whole lot more than the number. Like I'm trying to figure out the number that's up here. I think that's just our number from Twitter because we get viewers from YouTube.
Yeah, it's just the Twitter views. The number up here is just the Twitter views.
Who knows how many people have checked this episode alone now.
We appreciate all of you, man. Thank you so much for tapping in with us. We'll be back this week with more content for the Super Bowl. Keep an eye on all our social medias. And if you guys haven't, please drop a follow. Like we mentioned, got a goal, 1,000 on Twitter, 100 on Instagram. Please just help us reach that. Share our page around.
If you're watching, you see the ad on the screen right there. But if you're listening after on podcast, it's at the Philly Blitz _. It's the same ad on every social. Drop us a follow.
Appreciate y'all, man. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.